This is an intro to the Overture graphics interface. Here we see the main window or graphics window, a typical dialog on the right, and at the bottom here commands where you can type into the command window. Mouse buttons are left for picking things, middle for zoom, right for pop-up, shift left for translate, shift middle for rotate. In the file menu here, you can save hard copies. In the view menu, you can do clipping and change view characteristics. In the options, you can toggle on and off the axes, color bars, and other things. So let's close this down and fire up the OGen grid generator where we see the windows. I'll do create mappings, create a 3D mapping, and maybe a lofted surface. So here's a lofted surface, so shift middle, we can rotate, shift left can translate. We can also use these buttons to rotate around the various axes. Or we can translate here, we can zoom. This is the home button, it'll go back to home. If we want to set a rotation point, we can click this button once and then we click a point on the object and now it rotates around that point. If we want to zoom in and make this the new home, then in the file menu down here you can say set home, and now when you move around and choose home, it'll go back to there. And if you want to reset the home back, you can hit reset here. Okay, so in the lofted surface mapping, we have this dialog here, and there's at the bottom a text boxes, and the thing to remember when you enter a value in the text box, you should hit enter to make it have effect. So then if we do like a flat tip profile, we see it has a length 10. Okay, so this is Overture mapping. We can exit out of here. We can maybe make a different mapping here, cylinder. Now the cylinder, we saw there's no dialog popping up. This is an older part of Overture, so you have to use the right mouse button to see the pop-up menu. And so for example, we could set bounds on the theta. In this case, we have to type in an answer here into the command window, say 0 to 0.5 will be create a cylinder with theta going halfway around. So there's various pop-ups here. So the file menu is up here. We can save a hard copy here. We can enter name, sil.ps, and save it. We can go to the view menu, for example, and turn on clipping planes. Here we turn it on. We can adjust it a little bit. You can also define the normal, turn on other clipping planes. And here from the options menu, for example, we can toggle on the axes and the labels and other things. So everything that is done in Overture is actually scripted into a file. So when you run OGen, it saves a file called ogen.cmd. So if I look in ogen.cmd, we actually see a list of all the commands we entered. Here's lofted surface, here are some rotation, this is when we set the view. For example, down here is building the cylinder, and so usually when I'm doing something, I'll make a copy of this, rename it, since it will get overwritten the next time you run Overture, but you can rename it, you can clean it up, and then use that when you run OGen to issue all these commands automatically.